Hello, good evening. What's going on? Welcome to episode 24 of The Home Front. I will give everybody a few minutes to jump on. Tonight we are going to talk about HOAs. I know a lot of people like talking about HOAs. What's up, Kathy? Please make sure you say something. Let me know that you jumped on so I can give you a shout out. What's up, Valentine? Please, if you're so inclined to hit that like button, love, share it out. That way people won't miss out on the information. You never know who could benefit from watching or hearing anything. Tag a friend in the stream as well. What's going on tonight? Happy Monday. Tonight we're going to talk about HOAs and how they play a part in your home sale process. HOAs is obviously it's your homeowners association, and we also know that condos have associations as well. What's up, Terrence? Thanks for jumping on. Please share this out. I know a lot of people hate HOAs, Valentine. Some, like when my brother bought his house, he made sure he was not getting in the neighborhood that had an HOA. Scale Up Monday. Okay, is that what we're calling Monday now? Scale Up? I like it. I like it. You can have HOA dues monthly, annually, quarterly. Pretty much you can set it up. I think it's just dependent upon their rules and regulations. I personally have mine coming out monthly. It's a lot easier. But HOAs will give you a lot of different rules and regulations to follow, and you better follow them. They have ways of enforcement, and they make sure that you comply. They give you this big disclosure packet when you purchase your house. I don't know how many pages this thing is. Doesn't even say. It's a lot. It's a lot to read. But you do need to read it. I will tell you that, because when you buy your house, you think how exciting it is to be a new homeowner. HOA. I'm going to talk about how it hurts your possible and the impact on your loan as well. What's up, Jesse? Thanks for joining. So back to that. Your dues. You pay monthly, quarterly, or annually, however you can set it up. When you go to sell your house and you get under contract, the buyer you as the seller have to request a disclosure packet, which is usually costs you between $250 to $350 around here. Thank you, Terrence, for sharing. I really appreciate it. It'll cost you between $250 to $350. You have a certain amount of time. Here, they have about 14 days to get the HOA packet to you, and you have to provide that to the buyer. We used to have a form where we would give it to the buyer and they would sign off on it to make sure that they are, accepting receipt of it, so that way you have it documented. But it's very important because that is a contingency on a home sale contract. If there's an HOA involved, you need to get that, because the buyers could potentially walk away from the contract without a problem if they don't either, one, get it on time, or two, if they don't like the rules of the HOA. They can be quite expensive. Condo fees can be quite expensive, but they have a lot more that they take care of generally with condos. One thing that's important to remember too, which I learned a couple years ago, if they're the homeowners that pay the dues, everyone pays the dues. If they are behind a certain percentage, here it's 15%, or it was at one point. If there's a delinquency of 30 days of at least 15%, that can stop the sale of your house. Completely stop it, because they cannot be behind more than that percentage for 30 days. They have what's called a 30-day and a 60-day. And at the time when we were going through it, they had just changed the regulations, and it completely stopped it. And I was as the agent, I'm telling my client, I'm like, let's find out how much it is. We may need to pay it just so we can get your home sold. And she was panicking. Sometimes the HOA gets sold to another company that ends up a nightmare trying to, yeah. I mean, it could be a nightmare. HOAs are not that great. Sometimes if you don't have a good property manager or association, some of the things that the loan officers are going to look at are the delinquencies on the association dues, like I mentioned, lawsuits, limited cash reserves, too little insurance, and too many renters. all of those things play into effect when you're selling your home or your condo, and I don't think people realize it. I know I sure didn't up until a couple years ago, but all those things are very important. It says when selling your home, you could face delays or even canceled sale. And the thing is, it's not like it's just one contract's gonna go away and then you're gonna get another buyer, because what will happen is you can't do anything until those issues are cleared up. So that's definitely something to look into, the status of your HOA before you even go into a home sale situation. And a good realtor is going to help you and remind you of that, but you definitely need to know your delinquency rate, because like I said, it almost completely derailed our contract that we had a couple years ago. When you get your HOA docs, they're going to have usually they'll come out and they'll look at the property and they'll make sure there are no violations. Then at that point, if there are violations, they can be negotiated with between the homeowner and the buyer. And they can either, the buyer can say, well, I'll take cash, or they can ask that the homeowner correct the violations. We've negotiated, I've had deals where we've negotiated and just given cash. So the seller didn't even want to deal with the violations. Because typically what we had, one incident where we had is they never even violated her for the issues that she had until the sale of the home. And she had been there for, 15, 20 years, and they never even violated her for it. She couldn't stand the association. But, everybody has different experiences. I'm not one way or another as far as homeowners associations. They don't regulate too much over here. We had a policy where we couldn't have anything above a 4-foot fence. But everybody else in the neighborhood went ahead and got a 6-foot fence, so I don't think they really care what's going on. The only thing that you need to do is, I think there's a document in here that says if you're going to go against what the rules and the regulations say, then have a few of your neighbors sign a form to say that it's okay with them. But basically, they want to keep your neighborhood in standard form, and that could be regulating anything from colors, signs, where you store your trash, fences, leasing of your property. A lot of things that you feel as a homeowner you have the right to do without asking permission, you don't. Any external structures, any kind of changes have to go to the architectural board, and they have to say yes or no. In your packet, you have timelines that they have the time to respond, and if they don't respond, and how it all works. They also have guidelines and regulations on how if you don't comply, how they're going to enforce it. They could put a lien on your property. They could assess you mandatory fees. They could take you to court, which is, a lot of people they don't realize that they can face legal action and liens against their property, which again will stop the sale of your house. So these are all important things to keep in mind when buying into a neighborhood with an HOA. I personally don't think, again, mine doesn't do enough. Only sometimes. I wish they would do more with the parking regulation. If you've ever watched our girls' night on Tuesday nights, I've complained endlessly about the parking. But they've told me flat out they don't regulate parking in this neighborhood, so it's up to the homeowners. And a lot of the homeowners in my neighborhood, they don't like the homeowners association. They complain about the plowing, the lack thereof, which I personally don't care. They got out here pretty quickly, and I think the Virginia Department of Transportation monitors our neighborhood, so it really doesn't bother me. If it snows, I'm not going anywhere anyway. But just some things to keep in mind. When you are buying into a neighborhood with HOA, read your regulations. I know it seems tedious and it's like boring. It's not the most exciting, sexy thing to read, but you really should read it. You need to find out what kind of rules they have and if it's something that you even want to enter into, because it can become really painful if they tell you. I had someone tell me that they weren't even allowed to have fences at all. And that's something that I wouldn't want to buy into a neighborhood with a rule that has no fences, because I have dogs and I want to have the fence area where I can just let them out in the morning. But it's really good. Like I said, make sure you read, do your due diligence. Buying a home should not be taken lightly. You should really take your time and make sure you're doing the right thing and buying into a neighborhood that you want to stay in for a while. Check out the neighborhood at night. Check out the neighborhood random times throughout the day. Thank you, Terrence. Thank you. I really appreciate the feedback. And any topics you guys want me to talk about, or any questions you have, please let me know. I really enjoy the feedback that you guys give me, And again, hit the like button, the love button. Let me know what you think about it. You can tell me that you're mad about something, that you didn't like what I said. I have very thick skin, so it's not going to bother me. But again, thank you for joining. I do this every day to kind of help you guys out with some information on real estate and how things work. So thank you for joining, and I will see you guys tomorrow.